This is a pricing model for pricing the call options and the put options. So this means in simple words, we are calculating the premium on a call option and a put option. The assumptions on which the model is based is that underlying assets do not pay any dividend, and the basic assumption of this model is that the stock price will take up only two possible values. So you have the name binomial. इसका मतलब क्या है कि by यानी कि two, only two possible values will be taken up by the underlying asset, and on that basis we calculate the call or the put premium involved. Now in option pricing, you also have a Black and Scholes model that is quite complex. As compared to that, binomial model is a more easy model in terms of computation. Okay, so let's move ahead. Let's just start on the working. So herein we assume that the underlying stock, since we are talking about stock options, can take up either price SU at the upper limit or SD as the lower limit. You have interest free rate as RF. Again, depending on how the share moves, how the stock moves, the call option or the put option, both can take up a value CU or CD. After that, we calculate two values which are very important. One is delta and one is B. What do we mean by delta? Delta is your hedge ratio. Hedge ratio मतलब कितने number of shares आपको purchase करने चाहिए additionally to eliminate the risk. And B is the investment in bonds, that is investment in risk-free asset. Okay, so when you calculate these two values, then you can create a call option using the stock and the bond. जो आपने पुट कॉल पैरिटी में करा था कि आप स्टॉक होल्ड करके बॉन्ड होल्ड करके और जो करंट एक्सरसाइज प्राइस पे एसेट इन्वेस्ट कर सकते हो, उसके थ्रू आपकी प्राइसिंग इक्वलाइज हो जाती है. तो उस फॉर्मूला अप्लाई करके वी एक्चुअली क्रिएट अ पोर्टफोलियो using all these alternatives and try to eliminate the risk. So these are the formulas which are used. Your binomial tree, we are talking only about one period binomial pricing. So the price can be SU, SG, CU, CD. So the payoff of the replicating portfolios would be SCU into delta. Delta is the value which we calculate प्लस 1 प्लस आर एफ बी इज इक्वल टू सी यू. ये वेरिफिकेशन के लिए होता है फॉर्मूला. जब आप डेल्टा और बी कैलकुलेट कर लेते हो तो आप चेक करते हो कि उनकी कैलकुलेशन आपने ठीक करी है या नहीं, ये फॉर्मूला पुट करके, और यहाँ पे जो आपने वैल्यूज कैलकुलेट करी है वो वेरीफाई करते हो. फॉर्मूला फॉर डेल्टा इज सी यू माइनस सी डी upon SU minus SD, and for B is given here, and this is then the final formula to calculate the option price, whether it is your call option or it is a put option. So what we'll do is, now this all formulas will be they will seem complicated to you. What we'll do is we'll start solving a question on this, and then these things will make more sense. Okay, so let's move to a question. So in this question, you are calculating the value of a put option. Pick up a blank page. Okay, so let's first have a look. Let's move back to the question. Suppose a stock is currently trading for $60 and in 1 year the price will go up by 20% or fall by 10%. Your risk-free rate is 3% and the exercise price is 60. So what will be the value or the premium on a on an European put option? Okay, so let's start with the question. Step 1 is to make the one period binomial tree. So I'll move back and forth to the question to take the values. So starting with the price of the stock at point 0, which was a value of $60. Now this value in year 1. Okay. Now this might go up by 20%. इसका मतलब year end पे value हो सकती है 72 or it might fall by 10% or the value can be $54. Okay. So this is your SU stock का upper limit and this is SD. Okay, so apart from this, the only value we need is RF, which is 3%. Okay, now after this, you calculate the value of put option. What will be CU? If you want, you can write it as PU or PD. But for simple purposes, I'll keep it as CU and CD क्योंकि फॉर्मूला में हमने वही यूज करा है. अब पुट ऑप्शन की वैल्यू जब मार्केट प्राइस इंक्रीज होता है तब वो लैप्स हो जाती है at intrinsic value 0 because the put option will not be exercised. The put option had an exercise price of $60. X was $60. तो जब मार्केट में ही प्राइस 72 हो गया तो आप अपनी पुट ऑप्शन को एक्सरसाइज नहीं कर. Okay. Now when the market price falls to 54, then your put option will have an intrinsic value of 6 rupees क्योंकि 60 में आप शेयर सेल कर सकते हो जबकि others in the market will be selling the share at 54 rupees. So 6 rupees is the intrinsic value of the put option at the lower expected price. Okay, so this is your step 1 wherein you have calculated the values of SU, SD, CU, CD. Now we move to step 2. Under step 2, we calculate delta and B. Delta is the number of shares in which you need to invest additional shares to be bought, and B is the investment in riskless asset. So I'm simply taking the values from step 1 and putting them here. माइनस में आएगा आपका आंसर.
मैम पीपीटी में पहले CU माइनस CD ऊपर नहीं था.
एक मिनट में चेक कर लेती हूँ फॉर्मूला वापस. हाँ, थैंक यू. CU माइनस CD है अपॉन SU माइनस SD. जस्ट करेक्ट. Cu minus Cd upon Su minus Sc. Okay, now we can calculate the value of delta. However, it will still be negative. So 6 divided by 18. So you're getting a negative value. If you want, you can keep this in decimal also. 1 by 3 रखना है, 1 by 3 रख लो, or minus 0.333. Okay. Now, what does a negative value signify? It signifies that you are short on these shares. Minus means short and 0.33 अगर positive आता का मतलब you are long on the shares, you have purchased so and so shares. Okay, then next we move. I'll just take up the formulas. Okay, next formula is calculation of B. So that will be CD minus SD. Now we are taking both the lower values into delta divided by 1 plus RF. Will now be 6 minus 54 by 3, and our risk-free ratio was 1.03 for period 1. So we write it like this. So now you can calculate what is the value of B coming to. Coming to a negative value, sorry, प्लस हो जाएगा इसमें तो 18 plus 6. This is coming to 23.30. This is the investment you are making in the bond. 23.30, and you are short of 0.333 shares or 1 by 3 shares. Okay, so you get both these values at step 2. After that we can verify these values कि आपने डेल्टा और बी कैलकुलेट करा है करेक्ट या नहीं. Okay, for that again you have formulas. Let's move to step 3, which is verification of delta and v values. So SCU delta plus B into 1 plus RF could give you CU, and SD into delta plus B 1 plus RF should give you the value of CD, that is value of put at the lower price. So let us see, let us verify, are we getting these values or not. So you are getting CU, you should be getting CU as 0 अगर आप ये formula से solve करोगे, and you can clearly see that in step 1 we have taken CU as 0. So this value is verified. Again, you can check with the lower price also. You should get a value of 6. So this will be minus 18 plus 24, which will give you a value of 6, and hence CD can also be verified. Okay, so this means our calculation of delta and B have been correct, and now we calculate the value of put option, which will be equal to S delta plus B. Just check that this was the formula. Yes, S delta plus B. So S, now this S is 0, 60 into minus 1 by 3 plus 23.30. That will be 23.30 is your answer. So the premium on the put option should be 3.30. This is how you apply the binomial option pricing model to calculate the value of a call or a put option. These steps are the same. Okay, so please have a look. If there's any doubt, then ask at any of these steps. Okay, so what we can do is we can practice one more question. This was case of a put option. Last one will be step 4. Okay, thank you. So this was case of a put option. Now we can move to one question on call option. The concept will be more clear. So let's take up one more question. So here is the question. Now there are again two possible future states of world. In state 1, the stock rises by 50%, and in state 2, the stock prices drop by 25%. The current stock price is $50. So again, you have exercise price of call option given to you, risk-free rate, and you need to calculate the call option hedge ratios, and using the binomial option model to value the you have to use the binomial option pricing model to calculate the value of the call option. So I'll give you the formulas and then you can start solving. Step 1, you calculate CU, CB, SU, SD. Step 2, you will be taking This is okay. So let's go back to the question and you can write down the values. Your share currently has a value of $50, which can then take up two possible values. One is that in period one, in year one, it increases by 50% means $25 का increase होगा तो 75 हो जाए value or it drops by 25%. So which means 12.5 से drop करे तो lower possible value is 37.5 and your this is the upper value, this is the lower value and RF is given as 5%. Okay, so you can start solving the question. SO is the exercise price, which is $50. So now using these steps, you can start solving the question. CDS would be 0. Okay, so for CU and CD, you are getting a value of 25 and 0. What is the delta coming to? We can take it in fraction also. Okay, 0.67 exact आ रहा है. think 667 आ रहा था. ऐसे करके आ रही है ना वैल्यू. कोशिश करो कि जितना क्लोज ले पाओ because you are using the calculator, or you can take it in fraction also. That is up to you. Don't take till two decimal place, at least 3-4 decimal places आप लो इसमें. Okay, now after this, how much is B coming to? माइनस में आ रही है वैल्यू. 23.93. Just let me also check. Okay, so value is coming in minus 23 point. What I got is 809. Yeah. Kabir, you're right. So we are long on 0.6667 shares, and then we are falling short of this much investment. 23.809. फिर थोड़ा क्लोज चलना वैल्यू से, because then you will be able to verify whether you have calculated them correctly or not. Okay, so now put these values, all the values are there on the screen. Put them in the verification formula. Okay, it is being verified. So then you can move directly to the last step. Rest of you also solve step 3. You can verify whether you have calculated delta and B correctly. In the last step, you calculate the value of the call option, and it is coming to S आपका $50 होगा. S 0 होता है बेसिकली ये. So see how much is the premium coming on the call option. 9.541. Okay, so this is the correct answer. This is how value of the option is calculated using binomial model.